If all goes well, as General Perna will lay out, that means we can make our first shipments of vaccine to states this month, and we are on track to be able to ship enough vaccine for 20 million Americans before the end of the year. Of course, we're all eager to have enough supply to vaccinate every American who wants it. And because of Operation Warp Speed, we expect to be at that point in the spring. Having substantial quantities of a safe and effective vaccine that's been authorized by FDA before the end of the year is a remarkable achievement, and it will start saving lives very soon. As all of you likely know, yesterday, CDC held a meeting of its Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices, which issued recommendations to our leadership on how vaccines can be effectively and equitably distributed. These recommendations will now be used by states to develop the best prioritization system for their own citizens. States have different circumstances and are in different epidemiological situations, and state leaders are in the best position to take our general national recommendations and translate them into more precise guidance for their state and its conditions. As we approach the vaccine rollout, we're also continuing to expand access to treatments for COVID-19. As of this week, we've distributed more than 157,000 patient courses of 2 authorized antibody products across the United States and allocated a total of 205,000 courses for delivery to states. More than 3,000 sites are currently signed up to offer these treatments. We've also launched a pilot program that will explore how to reach vulnerable populations with these treatments and offer the treatments in even more convenient locations. As we've mentioned, Americans need to know that this treatment is a possible option for patients who are at high risk for severe COVID-19 but who have not been hospitalized. That includes all Americans over the age of 65. That's the definition we're using in this case for risk of severe COVID-19. Receiving this treatment, if you're in that category, could help keep you out of the hospital, potentially helping to save your life.
On the Moderna vaccine side of things, the final analysis has now been completed with 94.1 efficacy against moderate and severe disease. Importantly, there were 30 cases of severe disease in the trial, all 30 in the placebo group, so 100% efficacy. There were 7,500 and some elderly people with age over 65, and efficacy in that population against moderate disease was 87.1%, and efficacy against severe disease was also at 100% since there were no cases in the vaccine group. I think those are very important data to keep in mind. This exceptionally good data, and in fact remarkably similar to the data that you have already seen coming from with the Pfizer vaccine. And obviously, as the Secretary said, the fact that an external regulatory agency of the highest caliber and standards, equivalent to those of the FDA, the UK MHRA, has approved the Pfizer vaccine. Of course, they have not been part and involved in any of the politicization that surrounded the development of this vaccine, and I hope this will be another evidence for the American population that the data with these vaccines are clear, are transparent, and demonstrate that they are effective and safe for use in the general population. Because as the Secretary said, vaccines are useless if they are not used to vaccinate people. I think also really great progress with 2 other vaccines in the pipeline. The Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which is a recombinant human adenovirus 26 vector, has now recruited a little bit more than 28,000 subjects in the phase 3 trial. Now, the breakthrough that we hope with this vaccine is that it's a one-shot vaccine with very fast efficacy achieved and 100% compliance, so to speak, since everybody who gets one shot get the full vaccination schedule. It will be very important, by the way, for all Americans who get the Moderna or the Pfizer vaccine to have their first vaccine dose and then come back either 3 or 4 weeks later to get their second vaccine dose to complete the immunization schedule.
First reference allocations. We have provided the 64 jurisdictions, which a reminder is the 50 states, 8 territories, and 6 megacities, as well as 5 federal agencies with their allocations of the vaccines that are going to be available in the month of December. What we've done is, we believe, for planning purposes only, we had to pick a date, and I've coined the phrase snap the chalk line, so that we could plan on actual doses that will be available. So, for example, a week and a half ago, or on 20 November, through Tiberius, we provided the 64 jurisdictions and 5 federal agencies their allocations for the Pfizer vaccine of a total of 6.4 million doses that will be available. A week later, on 27 November, we provided the 64 jurisdictions and 5 federal agencies their allocations for the Moderna vaccine at 12.5 million doses that will be available. Again, we are planning to be ready when EUA is approved. It is not about getting in front of EUA, it's just making sure that we have everything locked, so when EUA decision comes, distribution to the American people becomes immediate within 24 hours. That's our goal, that's what we're striving for, and that's what we're working to. You can't execute if you don't have a plan, and that's what our emphasis is as we work through all that process. We are going to send half the doses based on allocations to the jurisdictions and agencies because it is a 2-dose regimen, as Dr. Slaoui just talked about. So half of the allocation will be sent out, and then 21 days later for Pfizer and 28 days later for Moderna, we send out the second half of allocations. 2 reasons. One, to ensure that we don't over-administer and that we have the second dose on hand. And second reason is to make sure that we don't overwhelm limited storage capability and capacity at the state level. We want to augment their plans, enable their plans, not constrain them from the greatest distribution capability that they have.